Hey everyone, and welcome back to Rank and File Sports. And today we're going to be hopping right back into our series where we are predicting every single Power 4 team's record by the start of the college football season. Today with Haynes King and the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Now Georgia Tech ended up going 6-6 in the regular season last year before winning their bowl game against UCF to move to 7-6. Overall, a pretty solid season for a Georgia Tech team that had long been near the bottom of the ACC. They got a couple lucky wins like the one against Miami, but the roster seems to have improved overall, and they might be able to take another step forward this year. The schedule, unfortunately, is not going to be very easy. The first game is in week 0, the first one out of every college football game. They're playing number 10 Florida State in Ireland. Should be a really good game. A lot of people are going to just take Florida State immediately without any thought. This one's definitely one that Georgia Tech is going to compete in. I think this will probably be a closer game than a lot of people are expecting. Might even be able to keep it within 10 points, which I don't really think a lot of people would expect from this Georgia Tech team. Georgia State and the road trip to Syracuse will be a little bit easier. Syracuse definitely the tougher out of those two games, bringing in Kyle McCord, the transfer quarterback from Ohio State. They also should be improving this season. VMI doesn't really need to be talked about. That'll be a guaranteed win. And finally, before the first bye week, they go on the road to face Louisville. Now, Louisville made the ACC championship last season. They should be a pretty solid team again this year, but I wouldn't quite expect them to make it that far this season. They might take a small step back. After the bye week, the schedule's not really getting much easier. These first two games aren't terrible. The home game against Duke is pretty winnable. The road trip to North Carolina will definitely be tougher. Connor Harrell and North Carolina are going to be a very good team. They'll be able to score a lot of points. This one should probably be a shootout, and it's one that Georgia Tech can win on the road, but it's definitely going to be tough. Notre Dame at home is going to be one of the tougher games on the schedule. The Fighting Irish are a very talented team. They brought in Riley Leonard out of Duke to be their new quarterback. And just overall, Notre Dame is going to be one of the favorites to pick up an at-large playoff bid. And this is one of the games they're going to need to win if they want to do that. So it'll be real tough for the Yellow Jackets to pull out a home victory there. On October 26th, they go on the road to Virginia Tech, a team that a lot of people are really high on this season. The Hokies are going to be a good team, but this is by no means a guaranteed win for them. Georgia Tech should make this game pretty competitive on the road. Following the bye week, though, they have a game against Miami. The bye week is going to be necessary for them to be able to have a shot here. Miami's a very talented team. They brought in Cam Ward from Washington State at the quarterback position, one of the best transfer quarterbacks in the portal. This was a really good game last season. Miami really did just throw it away and let Georgia Tech win. It's going to be real tough for Georgia Tech to win this one this season. Miami probably is the more talented team, and they probably are going to end up beating Georgia Tech at home. They get one more bye week on November 16th before finishing out the season with two tough games. NC State, another really solid ACC team. And finally, the road trip to Georgia, which is going to be an extremely tough game. The Bulldogs are the favorites in the SEC once again, most likely going to be ranked number 1 going into the college football playoff, barring an upset in the SEC. So that's going to be an extremely difficult game for Georgia Tech. Overall, an even split with home and away games at 6 apiece, and they have 6 of their opponents ranked in our rank and file top 25 poll, giving Georgia Tech an overall schedule difficulty of 8 out of 10. Taking a look at the schedule recap, we do like Florida State in that first matchup. We are a bit higher on Georgia Tech since we made the Florida State video, but we had to keep the percentages the same to keep our predictions accurate across the board. Now we'd probably give Georgia Tech a bit better than just 5% of a chance to win that game against Florida State in week 0, but we still do like the Seminoles in that one. We do have Georgia Tech pulling off 3 straight wins, including their first ACC win at Syracuse, to move to 3-1 before dropping that final game before the first bye week at Louisville. Out of that bye week, Duke and North Carolina are both winnable games. North Carolina on the road is going to be tough, but we definitely think it's possible, and we are going to go with Georgia Tech to move to 5-1. However, Notre Dame at home, another really, really tough game. We did end up going with the Fighting Irish. However, we like Georgia Tech to bounce back with an upset road victory at Virginia Tech to get them to bowl eligibility, which is crucial because their last 3 games, even though they have 2 bye weeks, we do have them losing all 3 of those games. Miami, NC State, and Georgia are all just too talented, and we can't really see Georgia Tech winning any of these games, which drops their record to 6-6. The projected record is considerably lower at 4.1 and 7.9. So based on our percentages, we are going with a bit higher of a record than is projected. FPI also has them below 500 at 4.9 and 7.1, with only a 1.5% chance to make the college football playoff. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and we will see you in our next video.